Hey, welcome back, man. This is the next episode, man. This is season 2. We've been away for a little while, man. A little hiatus, man. Just trying to get things together. But now we're back, and we're doing things really good this time, man. So we're still doing our same 30-minute segments that you check us out on our platform, the Brotherhood of Mental Health. Also, what we're going to do now is do more of us out in the field. Sometimes we're going to do some more segments and spotlights. So today I have with me is a very good friend of mine, Ekom. Ekom is also, he used to work with me over at Riverwoods, Anchor, all these places. Well, he worked at Anchor, I worked at Riverwoods. But we developed a friendship because we are both clinicians, African-American males, as you can see. But we also here because we agree on certain topics pertaining to mental health, religion, and also just the overall plight of helping out our community, which is our African American community. Now, so I would like to introduce you guys to Ekom. Ekom, talk to you, man. You're in the building, man. Tell me how you feeling.
Well, thanks for having me. This is great. Glad we can sit down and actually talk about some of this stuff, and have a forum to do so.
Right, yeah. With this platform, man, we definitely want to make sure that you get an opportunity to share what you're doing. And also, man, whenever you want to do things, film it or something like that, we'll make sure we put it on our YouTube channel. Which is called the Brotherhood of Mental Health. So tell me, man, talk a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you've been, what you go through, how'd you start getting into counseling. Talk about that.
Oh, well, the start, kind of an interesting story. Actually, I blame my dad.
Okay.
If we put it that way. So for years, I knew he helped people with their brain. That's how we described it as kids.
Okay.
Never really talked much about work at the house, but in high school, I took an AP psychology course, didn't think much of it. So much so that I didn't even take the AP test. Had an A in the class, didn't even take the AP test.
Wow.
Long story short, I majored in psychology. Okay. At that point, I had figured I was going into education some route. Okay. So I ended up teaching for a few years. Thought I was going to go to school counseling route. Mm-hmm. Ended up finding a counseling program. And I did a dual program. Okay. I did clinical mental health and school counseling at Troy University.
Gotcha.
That was around the time I actually found out what my dad did.
Okay.
So I kind of fit into that whole nature nurture argument.
Yes.
Like ended up same undergrad major as my dad, same exact master's degree,
get out of here.
Same licensure, and then ended up literally working at the same places he had worked at. Up until Riverwoods, where we actually became co-workers for a little while.
I remember. Both of y'all.
Right.
Man, there's some stories back there, man, about us working them night shifts.
Right.
Crazy, but
him claiming I followed him, but literally without any of his help along the way.
That's amazing.
I only really started getting advice from him when we started working together.
Yeah.
And in terms of like clinical advice and actually supervision in that sense. While I was in supervision, of course, if you've got a family member, close to you, that why wouldn't you tap into that resource? So, unofficially, he was a supervisor also. But
but tell me, because you told me there was something really interesting about what he did, but he kept it under wraps himself.
Oh yeah, that man it's probably made like Black history and stayed under the radar the whole time. There are programs, even treatment models that he kind of developed. Yeah. And never took credit, never wanted credit. He's never been that type of guy. Never like big into the spotlight type of thing.
He's behind the scenes type of dude. When I met him, he was a really cool cat because he always wanted me to talk to him, and I call him the blue-eyed devil because he's the only person I knew that was he's from Nigeria.
Right.
With blue eyes, and I was like, how's a guy from Nigeria? And I was like, well, you know what? But he was really cool, laid back, chilled.
Right.
Never got upset, even when the patients would go off. He was just more even keeled, and I admired him for that, man. Because I said when I came into the game in 2011 and met him, and he was training me. It was like he trained me, but he didn't. And it was just based upon what he just normally does and how he did his paperwork. His paperwork was always thorough, and he did his thing, and I was really impressed by that. But then also when I met you over there, it was the same. I could see the same scenario. You did your thing, made sure your stuff was thorough, your paperwork was together, and you kept it up point. So I always applauded y'all as the father and son duo, man. Y'all really did y'all work, man, for the community, and to see two African Americans males in this field that are family related, that really you carved your path without, like you said, without even getting that help, because everybody always want that nepotism, but you didn't get it.
Right,
So,
right.
share that part about what really made you not. Was it just something that he did, or was it something that you did yourself?
Well, so the thing is, knowing my dad's story from the time he left Nigeria and came to the U.S., with two or three friends, a handful of friends that he knew over here, and one relative, his older brother, that was already in the States. They were in D.C. And just knowing that, he didn't have scholarships, there were no student loans available to him.
Right.
He was working and paying and going to school, and that sort of thing. And just knowing there was limited help for him, and he made his way.
Gotcha.
Now it was always good to know I had a safety net, but being the firstborn, I've always been stubborn too. Got to figure things out for myself.
Yeah.
Had I known I was going into the same exact line of work as my dad, that might have affected things. So maybe that's, he was always just kind of like, I want you to learn all that you can, but I want you to pick something that you're going to be successful at and make a living at.
Right.
And I mean, that was pretty much it.
Right.
Never really directed us, you're going to be a doctor or you're going to be a lawyer or anything like that. But so there was always a drive just to be able to do things for myself.
Okay. And this was growing up in D.C.? Where'd y'all move?
Born in D.C., been back and forth since I was a kid, though, between Atlanta and D.C.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, because you still got that, like, you don't have a southern accent. You got more of that metropolitan D.C. area, Philly type of thing.
Yeah, it just, from moving back and forth, you never stayed anywhere long enough for anything to stick. So this is, I guess, just what.
But you love go-go music, though.
Oh, love it. Love it.
Chuck Brown,
Chuck, in Northeast Groovers.
See,
BYB.
Call them out.
We grew up
call
on that stuff.
Man. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, man. Call them out.
Right.
Yeah, man. I fell in love with go-go music when I moved to. I was stationed in Yorktown, Virginia, in the Coast Guards, man. And so I would go to Virginia Beach, or then we would sneak up to the Baltimore area, man, and hang out over at the harbor, man. And they would just have those Rare Essence was over there doing stuff like that, man.
Yeah.
So it was nice to hear. I just
good,
love the
unique type of music, man. That just once it's music. It's different from rap in that it's all electronically done, but go-go, there's actually a band. Like these are guys from the neighborhood that are playing instruments. Like
and the horns are just go and they just be on point. You be like, dog, these cats are on point. With the congos and the I mean, they just do their thing.
Right.
Okay, once again, man, this is the next episode, season 2. This is our first episode with Ekom, man. Ekom is one of our good lead therapists out here, and he does some other things that's going on too. We'll be getting into that too, but right now we're doing more of the personal side of Ekom, because this is how we do it. The first 15 minutes are going to be the personal side, and then we're going to get into what he does for his career, and there's also his private practice. Ekom, so we talked about the DC Go-Go, man, and all that stuff, and growing up. Now, you told me that at one time you was thinking about boxing.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I'm gonna get you, man.
So that's
talk to me about the boxing, man. What was up? What sports?
Interesting times there. Always been into sports since I was a kid. From interested in every sport that I could physically play. Other than golf. Golf didn't get interested until later. But soccer, all of that. But right around the end of undergrad. I was always, into fitness, even did some personal training. So I was in the gym all the time.
Gotcha.
A guy approached me and asked me what gym I boxed at. And I was like, dude, I don't box. He was like, well, you work out like a boxer. You shape like a boxer. I know a gym. Okay, whatever. Ended up going to this gym, and in my mind, I'm just thinking about learning how to work out. And, as I ran track, so I imagined I could never be in better shape than when I ran track. So I wanted to try something else challenging. I started boxing, and it was like, okay, this is a serious workout. And me being who I am, it was, well, what's the point in learning this if I can't use it? So let me try sparring. Okay, coach, let me spar. So once I was at that point, he put me in the ring to start sparring, and I was like, all right, this is kind of cool, but I need to work out more because I don't really have the stamina to do all of this in the ring.
Okay, yeah.
So sparring, did that for a while, and then of course, again, wanting to put myself to the test. And I said, well, let me try getting in the ring. Let me see if I can actually use this.
Right.
Secondly, I wanted to know if I could take a punch, to be honest.
Okay, I got you, because I would have never did that.
Yeah,
I'd do the routine training and stuff. Occasionally, I might take a couple hits so I can know what it is, but, bunk that, man.
For me, just wanted to challenge myself and see, if it's a form of fighting, so if I ever had to use it, in the back of my mind that, man, they made me register my hands and stuff like that. That was crazy. But
what? Really?
Yeah, that was crazy, because I still don't. I mean, I'm 6'2", I'm a big guy. But I don't consider myself a weapon, right? But real interesting. So just had about 2 years where I actually boxed competitively, and even in the Georgia State Golden Gloves in 2006, I was a finalist. I didn't win it.
No, but the thing is that you took upon a goal, pursued it. First you thought it was just something for exercise, but you pursued it and said, let me see how far I can take this, and you took it far enough that you felt accomplished to say, well, hey, I could never say I was at Golden State Golden Glove, but you did, and that's something to say, because now as a clinician, how do you use what you've done in your life towards your craft as a counselor?
Honestly, it's about motivation, and it's about curiosity also. So there's always a test of myself. For me, it's always to find out what I'm made of.
Right.
And there's always a push. That's the motivation. There's always something driving me, and it's internal. It's my own curiosity to learn myself. I try to help people to find that for themselves.
Gotcha.
To find that curiosity, that motivation to get them to test themselves. That's to find that drive. Ultimately, if I had to sum it up, that's probably the gist of it.
Okay, yeah, because like I said, you're gonna, sometimes the curiosity in the client, see what they're going with, why they've been depressed for so long, or how they dealt with this issue, or their anxiety, or what motivated them, what not motivated them, why they became so isolated, or why the uses of self medication through drugs or alcohol or something like that. So those are the things that does inquire us as clinicians to look at too, to get involved with. That's pretty cool that you can use those type of skill sets in your practice. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think once we get a better understanding of ourselves, we push ourselves to various limits, or understand when we've been pushed to our limits. We have a better understanding of a few more answers to that curiosity, I think. Gotcha. and understanding the whys and the whats to ourselves. And that's something that always drives me personally. So
what are some of the things that you notice in the African American community that we would like, if there's some people who are, because there's a stigma about it anyway, and this is the year 2018 that I've seen a lot of minority symposiums or workshops are talking about breaking the stigma. And so we've been in this game for a while. I've known you since 2011, and it's 2018, so we've been in this game here of at least 7 years going on. What are some of the things that you see that we could do in the African American community, or what drives you to become this therapist and working in the community?
Working in the community, I think there's a lot of history in America regarding African Americans, various problems, things of that nature. I just believe that at some point, people in general, I'll start there, that people in general have to be able to figure out why they're unhappy or why they're having problems. And maybe that answer never fully comes to fruition, or is realized by you, but maybe at least at a certain point you realize or understand your role in the situation, that whole Gestalt thing, and understanding what my role in the things that are occurring is.
Gotcha.
Also, I think there's just a general sense that there is a quick fix for everything, which I don't necessarily knew that existed, you know, in my father's day and before, you know, my grandfather's day and things like that. There was that for most, you have to work for things, you know, that things don't just come easy. But, you know, we also live in times where every spelling bee contestant gets a ribbon.
Yes.
Every kid on the soccer team gets a trophy. Right. You know, so it's to reduce that, you know, I guess sense of failure, whereas, you know, maybe we're not looking at it from a different angle, another perspective, you know. Well, maybe I didn't fail, but maybe this should drive me to work harder. Right. You know, which goes back to that curiosity. When I didn't win in the Golden Gloves, that wasn't my last fight, but my last fight, I fought harder. I won my last fight, but you know, so I wanted to walk away on top. But I think at a certain point, we just have to be able to respect each other. And like, things aren't easy. There is no easy fix, and that we have to work for things.
I'm not saying that there are a sense of slavery pertaining to us, connected to this thing called the internet, the iPhone, or our Samsung, because you can see even in the stores, going out to dinner, you see more people not communicating like we are, or more communicating through the phone. So that's why I said that is a type of slavery for us to be enslaved on something that has us so gravitated that we will be lost without our phone. You know, I have a hard time remembering my wife's number, but I force myself, because if I don't have my cell phone, I gotta call somebody.
To be honest, that's the only number I know other than my own.
That's right.
My wife's. I don't even know my mother's number by heart anymore.
But back in the day, when we were lost as kids, you had to remember what? Your address, your phone number. Everybody that you know that has a phone around that area, you knew their number right off the rip. You can say them. Now we gotta let me look it up.
Right.
So yeah.
But I think that when it comes to like the self-entitlement, things like that, the cell phones, social media, you know, it's about vanity. And I think we are living in times where our own vanity, and, you know, of course, people will take that to be such a negative thing, right? Hearing me say it, but it's about me. It's about, you know, which is, and I'll throw it out there, why I don't believe in self-esteem in the sense that everyone else does. I think it just contributes to vanity. You talk to someone who is depressed, a lot of the clients that you talk to, I'll challenge anyone. Count how many times you hear the word I, me in their statements, right? So I challenge, and looking at that, it's when we're always talking about ourselves and how I feel and what I'm doing. I'm posting on social media either because I've seen something that made me feel good and I want to put it out there to other people so that I look like I'm doing well and I'm helping everybody and I figured it out. You know, those are all our, you know, neo happiness gurus out there. And then you've got the others who it's all about uplifting myself to show what I'm doing and how great my life is, what a great time I'm having, or how successful I am. And or, you know, how beautiful my kids are and how amazing my life is. Isn't that vanity? Yeah. You know, we always look at vanity as looking in the mirror and you know, primping and, you know, and doing all of that. But honestly, it's just about self. When we get out of the whole self thing, well, what's the opposite of vanity? And pride would be humility. You know, I think once people step away from that whole humility and modesty thing that used to be the forefront of society, which led to the collective goals of a community. You're considering your neighbors and all of those things. It was different. You know, I'm not going to say people felt different or they had less problems. It was dealt with differently. And you weren't alone in this box because you were just depressed and now there's no one that understands me. But you had more support and you were willing to accept it rather than hiding and becoming more reclusive because of your problems. Again, that's the result of vanity. I think that was, you talk to anybody, even if they're not in this field, they know all about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which at the end of the day, it just highlights vanity. Because if I can't be self-actualized, if I can't actually be great, I can settle on feeling great, you know? And so that's the whole self-esteem part.
Or be a part of something that makes me great.
And so at the end, it doesn't, it takes away the value in working with, doing things for, and serving others. You know, at the end of the day, anything we do, if it's a business, we call it a service, customer service. We're counselors, so I provide a service. A doctor provides a service, right? But we always forget, if I'm providing a service, doesn't that make me a servant?
Or to serve.
So where's the pride? Where's the vanity in that? If I'm that also suggests that I'm doing something for other people. We've even lost the definition of what we do in life through looking at how great I am in doing what I do.
Because when you think about it, a counselor, what does that do?
Supposed to be advising, counseling others, you know, providing counsel.
We change ourselves to psychotherapists, which means what? Okay, I work with your mind. Instead of saying, as a counselor, I am helping you get to who you are, but now I'm supposed to be an expert in understanding the mind. So that is pretty. That's deep, man. That's deep. See, that's why you need to watch.
It is
next episode because we talk deep on here, man. It's about the community. I guess we kind of vain too because we got a YouTube channel, so I got to be part of that. You know, you got to have some. I guess you got to have some of that.
Don't exclude myself from any of this.
Good. Now, as long as you don't exclude myself, that's good. I like this brother. Okay, he's cool. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, man. Those are the things. That's when we talk about empathy, unconditional positive regard, genuineness, all of those qualities that you learned in facilitation skills when you were in school. All of those qualities that we're supposed to have as a counselor. Like that's what we have to you know, use to help other people. But that's being a, you know, in servitude. You know, when I step out of that, I can't be genuine if I don't use my own experiences and disclose on some levels. I'm not saying to confess to your clients all of your mistakes and, you know, the you know, aspects of your life, but you know, that's where the genuineness comes in.
And that's what makes them feel it too. That I agree with that, because a lot of they want to say it's countertransference that we're using this. Well, no, if I'm a client and a counselor can't relate to me, but he says he empathized with me, I'm still going to be skeptical of him. You know, to me, sympathy is more of where we can develop that rapport, because now not only do I understand, but I also felt that pain. Because I usually, when I talk with my clients, there are days when if they're crying, I'm crying. You know, because they can see that I can feel their pain, and the aspects of knowing that, hey, look, it's hitting me too, but I want you to understand that together we're going to find a solution how to get out of it. You know, I'm not just going to do that as, you know, I'm just going, he can start to, I can turn him on, because no, it takes a lot. But because I know how painful it is, especially in the African American community, we dealt with this. It's embedded. It's part. There's documentation of theories that says that because of the slave mentality, it's part of a gene but it's also part of like sins of the father. So we could look at, there's something saying that causes us to have these types of nuances or how we feel about things. And I say, and so like I said, they come up with a lot of this theories and stuff like this, man. And sometimes we have to research it or try this, like we say, try by the Spirit, try the spirits by the Spirit.
Well, I mean, what if, we talk about genes and stuff like that. What if we simply just teach each other these things generation after generation?
As simple as that.
Right. And so it's a mindset. It becomes a culture, becomes a way of life, And when we think something is acceptable and this is how things should be, why would we change?
Because we know nothing else.
Right. If this is correct and this is how I should be, this has worked and this is taught, I've gotten the results I can expect.
Right.
Why would I change?
Well, that's true. Because you don't know that there could be so many other ways to expect stuff.
Right. And then there's also, even if I don't get the results I expect, or that I hope for, I should say, and things go negatively, but I believe this is just how things are, I've defeated myself.
Right off the rip.
I've taken away my motivation to fix any situation if this is just how things are.
Right.
If I believe I'm a young black man and everywhere I go, white people are going to be, or any other race for that matter, is going to be persecuting me and profiling me, and I'm subject to get arrested for no good reason, and that's just the way things are. On one end, maybe I just rebel and I,
to be the worst that I can be.
Because what's the point?
Right.
If I'm good, you're gonna persecute me anyway.
No matter what happens. That's true.
Then on the other end, maybe I just go into a shell, become reclusive, and stay to myself.
Yeah, don't trust anybody.
Right.
That's neat. Once again, this is the next episode. I'm here with Ekom. Ekom is a licensed professional counselor, therapist, and also has his own private practice.
Touch on it.
So how do they get in contact with you, man? Give me some information they can contact with you if they want to get some more information or request you to present at one of their functions.
Yeah. So right now, LinkedIn is a good way. In one of our vain forums,
that you on.
Yeah. We do promote ourselves, and for good reason in a lot of cases.
What's the name of your company that you're promoting?
I just go by my name.
Ekom.
So Ekom EkomLPC. You can find me there on LinkedIn.
Okay.
My email address also.
Okay.
MHSOL13 at Outlook.
All right. So what we'll do is that I'll make sure I'll put those on the site for you guys to look it up when we talk about it and you see the show. Also, once again, man, this is Daryl Brooks to the next episode. I'm here with Ekom. Ekom is talking about, he's just an LPC brother that loves his community, loves his people, and definitely loves what he do when it comes to these involuntary and providing information, knowledge. This dude is very deep in knowledge, man, and I would like for everyone to please check him out. Ekom, thanks for coming on the show, brother, man.
Thanks for having me.
Man.
Thanks for having me.
And remember, you always gonna catch us on the what? The next episode. Peace.